you, Rachel. I'm going to be sharing with you today virtual field trips. And I love virtual field trips for lots of reasons. I get very excited about them. But like right now, we can't go on field trips. It's out of the question. So like just on its own, it has a novelty that would normally be filled by a field trip. And I think it's something we should really lean into because it immediately captures our students' imaginations as they get to explore a new place. And it can be done synchronously, or there are also like asynchronous options as well, so it can fit both needs. And even I like it as an and, not an or. We're going to do it all together first, but later you may want to come back and explore and write more about what you see. You can absolutely use this in every single content area. It helps build strong vocabulary. Students want to talk about field trips, and that's a glorious opportunity, something to lean into once again to build our students' vocabulary. You can use it as a hook today, and tomorrow you can dig deeper and deeper into what you see. The very first time you go, it may just be overwhelming how many things you see and how foreign it can feel. And the next day you may be ready to dig in deeper and really notice some of the details. I included some of my favorite sites for virtual field trips. AirPano is the one we're going to be exploring today. Nearpod is Andrea's favorite, and she could probably answer questions about it if you have them. But also Google Maps Street View as a tool is very powerful. We just saw that through GeoGuessr. We were using Street View to go explore a new place. And while GeoGuessr picks a random spot for you, you as the teacher can go into Google Maps Street View and pick that location for your students and have them explore in that very targeted way. And I think that answers a question from earlier in the chat about how can we really target the spaces that our students are exploring. And that's a good option. Another favorite is the San Diego Zoo. They have a really robust collection of live cams of the animals, so it really does feel like you are at the zoo. The best part is you don't have to worry about people getting too close to you or not being able to see over somebody taller than you. If you have iPads, Google Expeditions is a great option. However, you'd have to do that as an asynchronous activity. So you have to judge whether that's a good fit for your students. And then the 20 more ideas is from Ditch That Textbook. It had a lot of other really great resources, which I agree with, but a very long list indeed. So what we're going to be trying out is actually in the slide link. Everyone has this, but I've included here some different concrete ideas that you could do with your students around the world. So just take a moment, like look around. What are some different items here? I see geometry hunt in France, Snow Valley, Russia, Dragon Mountain, measurement in Brazil, tour guide, that one's in Toronto, and Sydney vocabulary. So today we're going to do a geometry hunt in France, but this is hard. I was trying to pick my favorite one to do with you all. And Dragon Mountains in South Africa was also very exciting because it evokes some powerful imagery and makes me think of writing a story. But we're going to do this geometry in France one just to show that it does fit most content areas, every content area. I stand by that. So this drops you off an AirPano, and you kind of have to coach students to like close the boxes, right? With any of these free websites, you know, free comes at a cost, which is annoying pop-ups. Okay, so this particular example, our goal is to look for geometric shapes that we have learned in class. And so you can target 2D shapes one day, and then after we've dove in, look for more 3D shapes. But essentially, there's like the first look. The first time you look at this, you may find several shapes quickly, and I'm going to give everyone an opportunity to do that right now. Write down in the chat any geometric shapes you see. What shapes do you see? I hear rectangle, squares, square, triangle. Perhaps there's some irregular shapes that you happen to know the name of. But as we go through this particular tour, there are different images, and some of them take a bird's eye view, and that'll change what shapes you see. And just like it's a matter of perspective, and that slight change in perspective to a student is huge. It takes them out of how they normally think of the world, because we don't often get to go up in the sky and stare down at different places around the world. And so it makes it really special. We have time. I'm going to do it. We're going to do the Dragon Mountains. It's just so spectacular. You all have to see this. And so for this one, I would focus on writing, but in the notes, I put in a ton of ideas of how you could use this throughout all content. And this one I would use for writing a narrative. My goal would be for a student to imagine themselves in this particular environment and let their imaginations go wild. Because virtual field trips do have that power to just spark imagination. And so what I love about this virtual field trip on Airpano and the Great Wall of China has something similar. It will take you to different vantage points where you can navigate within the same like geographic area. And so imagining like myself or a student imagining themselves as they like travel along these lands, it's a different kind of hook to a lesson where you're going to be learning about narrative writing, imaginative fantasy. So those are our strategies that we have to share with you today. Let me go back to this tab. If you have more ideas for how you use virtual field trips, we would love to hear them. Please pop them in the chat. Music. Yes, the music on all of these is really fantastic.